Four Nations event in Hockey Ultimate Team has been released, and in this video, we are going to rank the Master Set player items from Week 1, as well as the fantasy items that were dropped for this event. I'm also going to discuss the cost if you wanted to actually make a fantasy item, as well as the Master Set player items. There is definitely some cheaper ways to do so, especially considering Team of the Year was just a few days ago. So let's talk about it. So while overall, I think this event is really well done in the sense that we've gotten some interesting Master Set player items, as well as fantasy items that will go up +1 every overall for a goal, and we got a collection mechanic where if you collect 2 of that nation's Master Set player items, there's going to be a 92 overall ultimate player for that country. However, when it comes to the cost, let's start first with the Master Set player items. It is extremely expensive, and it all ties back into the fact that we've got to trade in overalls and then upgrade those overalls, and it just appears that the value is not there. So let's walk through how to make those Master Set player items. Again, assuming that everyone's collection is kind of burnt out after Team of the Year, to make one of the Master Set player items, it will require 3 88 and above overall 4 Nation Faceoff items, and then 2 88 and above items on top of it. Now, there is a few ways to acquire an 88 overall item, but if we just look at the value in terms of cards required, it costs 384 overall items to net you 186 overall 4 Nations Faceoff player. Now, at the time of this recording, they're going for 9,000 coins per, and since you need 3, that's 27,000 coins for an 86 overall player item. And since you need 3 4 Nation Faceoff items, you're looking at 81,000 coins in value to get 188 overall. And then since you need 388 overall items, that's 243,000 coins in value just for the 88s from this event. Now, the other 2 88 overall items, those are going for about 70,000 coins. So in total, to make a 91 overall 4 Nations Faceoff Master Set item, you're looking at about 380,000 coins, which is extremely expensive. Now, there are ways to cheapen the cost with the 4 Nations collectible trade-in set. For example, you can trade in 30 of these collectibles and you will get an 88 overall 4 Nations Faceoff player, and you can earn 5 of those by just going to the store every single day. You're also able to earn 26 collectibles from completing the wildcard path, so that right there is almost 1 alone. And then if you're able to complete the objectives, you will also get another 88 overall 4 Nations Faceoff player. So they technically give you 3 or enough for 3, but the issue is that the objectives are extremely difficult because they don't give you a 4 Nations Faceoff player item for each of these countries. You're going to have to make some 88s and then complete those objectives, which would net you another 24. But still, it's not a very clean process for this event. Now, the real reason why I bring this up is because you can get almost every 4 Nations Faceoff item outside of Mikko Rantanen for under 300,000 coins, and it'll be tradable. So if you have an abundance of coins and you were looking to make some of these cards, even if just to trade in for whatever the ultimate is from that country next week, you might want to consider just doing it tradable. That way you could get some coins back if you want to sell it, and you don't have to worry about finishing every single objective in the week. But again, this is for the people that have a ton of coins. But anytime that you can buy one of the Master Set player items for far cheaper and it's tradable, you definitely want to go that route. Again, it's 380,000 coins to build it untradable, given the market values, and it's less than 300,000 to just buy the card straight up on the auction house. So again, this is for the players that have coins, and they are grinding out the objectives and wildcards and things like that to cheapen the cost. So let's rank the 4 Nations Face-Off Master Set player items for Week 1. And these first 2 are a hard pass unless you are trying to build a theme team or that specific country's Master Set player items. The first up is Brad Marchand. Now, this is actually the first usable Brad Marchand card that we've had in years, because he's actually got some decent skating. 93 across the board. He has gold unstoppable 4, silver close quarters, a decent shot, hand stats, and 94 body checking. And this year, size doesn't even really matter that much at 5'9", 176. It's just harder to hit in NHL 25 if you know how to protect the puck well. The issue here with Brad Marchand is that he's a pure left-handed winger, meaning that he gives you no lineup flexibility. You are going to have to play him as a winger. The real issue is that you can get Jesper Bratt's XP card for free by completing the XP path, and he's basically the same player. 1 less speed, 2 less acceleration, but he comes with silver elite edges, better hand stats, and a good shot as well. Obviously, he doesn't have the same level of body checking, but the discrepancy between the two is not going to be very much, so in my opinion, it just kind of really hammers Brad Marchand's value. Now, next up is Charlie McAvoy, 91 overall, 6'1", 209 with 2-way defenseman and agility boost. He's got gold shutdown and silver elite edges. And I'll be honest with you, I played with this card in wildcard, and he was fine. He was actually really good defensively. I didn't notice his skating. Obviously, at only 91, there are cards out there that are a little bit faster. He was just kind of unspectacular. There was nothing wrong with him. And if you didn't get Kale McCarr or you have any of the fantasy defensemen, there is nothing wrong with adding Charlie McAvoy to your team. He is going to do the job, and his abilities are quite good as well. Again, the issue here is that Aaron Ekblad you can get for free from the XP path, and he's just as good, if not better, because he's 6'4", 215. He's got the same speed and excel. His agility is a little bit slower, but he's got gold shutdown and silver heat seeker. His defensive awareness is roughly the same, 90 body checking. So again, in my opinion, I think that if you are looking for a new right-handed defenseman to add to your team, unless you're already using Aaron Ekblad, I just don't think it's a necessity to go out and make Charlie McAvoy. Now, number 2, in my opinion, maybe a little underrated, but Mika Zibanejad's card is actually quite good. 6'2", 201, good size, is a right-handed center with 90 face-offs and can get up to 91 with two-way forward. You can throw him at center or on the wing. Great to have lineup flexibility. His abilities are not must activate, make it snappy, and puck on a string. Can be useful for a certain percentage of the player base. His hand stats are fantastic. Just a very well-rounded card. And again, like I said, there is a positive to add when it comes to lineup flexibility, and Mika Zibanejad gives you that. However, the clear number 1 is Mikko Rantanen, 6'4", 215, the left-handed winger with 90 faceoffs, meaning that you can throw him at center. His shot is almost maxed out with sniper forward, and gold snipe and silver unstoppable force are pretty good abilities. I used this card throughout my entire wildcard run, and he was extremely noticeable. I thought his hand stats were great. He was big enough to throw people around and hold on to the puck with unstoppable force, and his shot was great. In fact, he had a couple during my run where he just kind of took over as a card. If you are looking to make one of these Master Set player items from this first release, Mikko Rantanen is the clear must-make. But again, I caution everyone, I would wait until Week 2's release happens to see the ultimate Master Set player items that are released. Because if you make Mikko Rantanen and the Canadian version of their ultimate is far better than the Finland version, you might regret it because you would have to make the 2 Canadian cards on top of it. So just something to keep in mind, but my goodness, Mikko Rantanen was a great card. Now let's break down the 4 Nations Face-Off fantasy items. Again, Gensel, Pettersson, Line, and Marner will all go up +1 for every goal that they scored during the tournament. Understand that there are only 4 total games. Every team is guaranteed 3, and 2 will get an extra one in the finals, but it is not a lot of games. I'll be real, when it comes to ranking them, I would be blown away if any of them get above 92. And because this event has never been done, we're just guessing. It's very hard to project out anything of value here because we've just never really seen this. Now, when it comes to line combos for each of these players, this is reported via Daily Faceoff after their first practice. Jake Gensel was playing with Austin Matthews and Jack Hughes in what could be an absolutely electric line. Elias Pettersson was centering the first line between Adrian Kempe and Philip Forsberg. Patrick Laine was on the first line with Alexander Barkov and Teuvo Teravainen. And Mitch Marner was centered by Connor McDavid with Sam Reinhart on the other side. Again, these can all change. The one thing I will say is that I would guess that Patrick Laine has the most opportunity to score a bunch because Finland is just going to force feed him on the power play. However, I would think that they have the least likely chance to make the finals and get another game. Gensel playing with Matthews is interesting, but I mean, it's pretty hard to score when you've got the greatest scorer in the tournament centering you. Elias Pettersson is interesting. I think that he could pop off potentially. And then Mitch Marner does like to shoot a little bit more when he's not with Austin Matthews, but you'd have to assume that he's probably going to be trying to set up everyone else. So that being said, if you are going to get one of these cards, which one would I suggest? The country that you want to win would definitely be number 1 because you're going to watch the games anyway, and that's what makes the fantasy hockey cards great. Even if Mitch Marner scores, though, his card is just not very good. Again, skating only goes up by 0.5, so he would need 2 goals to see a guaranteed speed increase, but his abilities are just very lackluster. Jake Gensel is kind of interesting because he's already got such a great shot, but like some of the other cards, his endurance is only 85. Elias Pettersson is definitely interesting. Like I mentioned, he is going to get all the opportunities to score. He already has a maxed out shot, and he's 93 faceoffs. So again, you can play him multiple places in your lineup. 92 speed and excel, 93 agility. Honestly, already a good card, even if he doesn't score. And then Patrick Laine is always great because of his size. 90 speed, Obviously, he'll need a few goals to increase that. His shot is great. Gold Snipe is fun. 1T isn't really necessary, but I just think that he might actually have the potential chance to score the most. Not only that, his round robin games will be played in the Bell Center, where he's familiar with. Fans will obviously go nuts for him. So just something to keep in mind. I personally think Patrick Laine has the chance to get the highest, but again, we're all just guessing. Now, the fantasy sets, it is pretty rough that they require 15 fantasy hockey collectibles to make this specific fantasy player that you're looking for, and the cost is not as bad as you would think. 387s is pretty brutal, and they are going for quite a bit. Even at 40,000 coins, you're looking at 600,000 to make the specific fantasy collectible. Hard pass there. However, the other two sets specifically, because there's so many 83 and above items on the market, this is where the price isn't so bad. These cards are going for about 3,500 coins. Again, I would not go anything more than that. So if the market jumps up, just wait as long as you can. But at 3,400 coins, that's 365,000 to make 15. So again, not nearly as brutal as the other ones. But again, I just don't see how they're going to get anywhere into the mid-90s. I do want to mention one more time, for anyone that is newer to HUT, you started at the beginning of the year. If you go all the way down in HUT moments to the fantasy hockey moments, there will be some moments in here that will earn you 2 hockey collectibles for the fantasy event. A total of 4, which would then allow you to make the B&D set with only 2 more fantasy hockey collectibles. Everyone should do this if you have these moments available to you. And to be honest, I think the 6 fantasy hockey collectibles for the B&D random pack is probably the way anyone should go if you want a card from this event. I would only do it once, because if you get 2 of the same, there's nothing you can do. But if you, again, were able to do those moments, you've had 4 and you only need 2 more, that's basically 50,000 coins required to get 2 more, and then you have a card from this event. If you do not have those moments available to you, you're looking at about 150,000 coins in value to do this set. I personally wouldn't, but we saw with the World Junior event, it just makes the event so much more fun if you have someone in the race. That's going to do it for the rankings. I will have a full breakdown for week 2 as well. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.